insta-locks in that Sivir on R5. So a very go-forward composition on both of these sides here. A little bit more kite potentially available to Weibo, with the slight elements of disengage that come from On the Hunt, come from Scatter the Weak, the ability for Alistar to be able to disengage as well. His presence felt in the mid lane. Xiaohu just TP'd back in.
Yeah, Xiaohu in a little bit of danger here. Keeps that trade up against Haichao going, but Juhan is deep behind enemy lines, and Xiaohu just says, I got no good options left, man. I'm going underneath this turret. First blood to Juhan and OMG. Not to be trifled with in this early stage, still fully capable of executing on these early game plans if you give them a little too many opportunities.
Spotted
JJ wants
on
to
a
make
ward
this
here,
dive
Gordo,
happen.
I think they know.
Yeah, they're getting underneath here. Double knockup is going to get found by Erha. They are going to try their best to get the first 2 kills, but it is going to be a double back over to Starry. The numbers advantage on the bottom side, going to be starting up this dragon while a big wave crashes into bottom. Zika going to be able to get here and pick up most of them, but this is going to be first dragon going the way of OMG, who already have themselves the feat of warfare. It's not a bad start here for them by any means, and kind of some unforced errors from WBG, really.
With the help of Spellbook TP from Moham here, maybe a little bit of fighting over this pixel.
Root coming in onto Erha, but Elk is there at his back. It's just a full-on 2v2 between the bot lanes, but Erha, the one with much lower health, going to be forced to expend that flash to get out to a safe range as they exchange blows on their respective wards. And the end result is a recall from Erha. Elk going to have to spell shield that Zenith Blade, but Moham's not done with them. Steps forward for the stun. Starry trading forward.
6.
Bullet time comes out, and Starry picks up the kill. OMG!
But for OMG, I feel like they're the ones who have got a real emphasis on making this game happen and happen quickly, because as they reach that late game, the damage that comes from a misfortune, much more situational. From an Orianna, maybe you could argue actually does well, but we see a lot of posturing around these grubs right now. Again, if Weibo can steal these away, it stops the snowball of OMG.
Yeah, Weibo should be able to get themselves the full cleanup here. Already have 2, and Juhan feeling plenty threatened as he looks for an opportunity to get in here and snag away the 3rd. Erha would have punted him far away from it if he even gave a thought towards that grub. But now Moham coming in from the bottom side. They want this fight. Crescent Guard going to come land onto all 3. They're going to look for the lockdown onto Erha. Unbreakable Will might be able to keep him standing for a little bit longer, but JJ going to have to chuck on out that display of talent, and it won't be enough to stop the advancing OMG squad. They pick themselves up a 5th kill, 4 of them onto Starry.
Super early on, you can see the items already completely out of a different league right here, as Elk is so far behind the curve.
Now play in the mid on towards Juhan, going to jump in onto him. Shockwave connects onto 2, but Haichao's out of mana.
Across the board here as well, with Juhan having completed that first item as well. OMG actually very strong and in a very good position to try and take this fight. You can also see that really the strong points of OMG and the strong points of Weibo aren't necessarily at this point in the fight, right? With Xiaohu on this top side, he's not getting to spend that large amount of gold in a skirmish. He's actually just trying to farm up against Harry and maybe try and force him a little bit lower.
Well, Unleashed Power comes through on towards Harry, but able to absorb it without too much trouble. Still no completed items onto Xiaohu's Syndra, but JJ coming in here to try to finish the job. Harry flashes away from Supreme Display of Talent, but Erha in deep behind enemy lines gets himself in there to CC up the Gnar and gives JJ that kill. But JJ
good
catch! Out to
catch!
Safety. A catch from Moham on the Solar Flare to guarantee the trade. Kill credit going towards Moham. Maybe not where you would prefer it, but happy to make a 1-for-1 nonetheless. Rift Herald fight. JJ lurking around in the shadows as well, trying to find a pathway in through that Tri-Brush, but they are going to try to send it on towards Xiaohu. Moham connects the Zenith Blade. Xiaohu not going to be able to get the flash off in time. Solar Flare connects. The full 3-man squad collapses, and Xiaohu's the first one to fall. Starry now going to get targeted on the opposite side, but does manage to flash back in time. A TP in from Zika, but he's immediately got to try to head for the hills. Not stacked up on the passive quite yet, and so won't get that res. And it's a 5 versus 4 regardless. Zeka turning it back in, does stack it up, starts to regen back up, but just doesn't have the backup of the rest of his team. He might just end up falling a second time. It's all 5 members of OMG await and collapse. OMG with another fight win off that pick onto Xiaohu.
Yeah, great picks here. The solo laners from Weibo throwing away their lead, and now they're looking for more. Another Zenith Blade.
As Erha is going to get locked down. Harry into the back line, gnars him into the wall. Elk pushed further back away, and it's now just Elk and JJ. But Xiaohu returns to the fight. WBG not willing to give this one up yet. Unleash power on a Starry will give a kill back over to Elk. And OMG still plenty happy with the gold they've accrued and the objectives they get to boot.
The best spot overall.
JJ spotted, sneaks his way out of there. Does have plenty of dashes in the kit. And this should be a turret going the way of Xiaohu as well, as there's nobody willing to get in there and actually tussle with them, especially not with JJ.
In terms of that fight, you'd think they're up in gold, but we take a look at the top of our screen here, Gordo. Weibo actually finding more and more advantages. That turret that went to Xiaohu gives him a really good spot. Engage!
No, Moham maybe up a little far this time as the engage was on to Erha, who does have the unbreakable will. Gonna find himself in a much healthier state. JJ finds a pathway in onto Juhan, and everybody's on top of him, but look at that shockwave pulling two back into the bullet time, and the focus coming through onto Xiaohu now. He falls, as does Erha. A 2-0 lead in the fight for OMG. Harry gets Zika back into the rest of the team with a big gnar, and Zika will be executed before the Grim Deliverance can come back on up. It's 3 kills to OMG.
And another fight goes the way of our underdogs here in game number 1, Gordo. They are battling with everything that they have got, finding themselves another fight win. And it's again, these solo laners of Weibo that aren't quite able to find access to Starry. You can see this misfortune, 8-9 now, 2-0.
Soul will do a lot to mitigate some of that scaling advantage from Weibo, and I don't know how much longer Weibo can keep losing fights like this, as Moham looking in on the flank once again, not able to find the path onto Xiaohu this time. Unleash power comes on through. No. Redemption nearly bails him out, but Elk is able to finish him with one more boomerang blade.
Yeah, let's look at the map though. Again, it's Weibo finding that advantage in the mid lane and now actually looking to try and take a turret. Hi Chow, he's going to be really isolated here if Zika gets it. Turret falls, but not quite able to find anything else. Bullet time to try and clear a wave, and OMG is scrambling.
Erha going to throw Starry right back into Xiaohu's waiting arms, but Xiaohu's been tanking turret the entire time, and he'll be solo killed by it. Now Juhan looking to move forward, already has been able to take down JJ, and next up on the menu is going to be Erha. It's a triple kill to Starry. 12-2-1 on this misfortune against Weibo.
So they are going to be looking to take so much. I wonder if OMG may be biting off a little bit too much here.
Keeping that push going. Nobody going to be able to respond to them on Otacon. Harry just has to keep his wits about him as he tries to get a little more damage into this mid lane turret. He's going to face tank it. He really wants that thing down. He'll think better of it after taking a shot or two. But all in all, I mean, OMG, as long as they get responsible with their recall timers here, they're going to walk away with pretty much everything.
No Infinity Edge on the Sivir just yet, which not really something that you would look towards as a PowerPoint. It's not going to be there for another, we'll say 5, 7, 8 minutes or so. So Elk, not even at that critical mass Sivir point.
An ultimate down for OMG. Hai Chao not going to be able to bring that one into the table. Harry, though, able to stack up the rage. Looking to come in here on the Mega Gnar, find a big ult into the wall and set up for Moham. Moham looks for the Zenith Blade, not quite going to be able to find it. Elk returns damage with a bit of a boomerang blade. Zika now looking for the engage angle. Bullet time comes through and finishes off JJ, but he was able to smite off the dragon first and foremost. Now Zika trying to fight his way out on the other side. Goes in with the Grim Deliverance, but can't get enough stacks to res himself up with the Cultivation of War. Hai Chao now coming in on the side, looking for another shot with the ball. Still doesn't have that shockwave, but has enough damage to work through Era's health bar. It's a fight win for OMG, but Weibo did steal away the dragon. Yeah, JJ coming out of the base, but he's too far away. They should be able to finish this one in time with the full force of OMG working through the worm.
Has TP as well.
Making a beeline for it, just can't get there in time, was still in the red buff.
Job. Syndra as well, just pulling in that minion, deciding, actually, I'm going to make it come with me, but Starry decides to face tank it. Is Juhan too far?
Or is JJ too far? Juhan just solo kills him. Mano y mano right in Weibo's face. Zika trying to pull him back, trying to make something happen.
Not having that might be a little bit problematic here as they try and siege this tier 2 turret, but the extra member is going to mean that this is all too easy, and Harry threatening with that mega is just again going to secure another turret without that.
But find a way in.
He's really weak if he doesn't have that unbreakable will. You can see Zika, you can see Xiaohu on the side lines here. They're trying to find this unique angle in, but they're just playing Ring Around the Rosie.
Oh, Xiaohu comes in.
Oh, the
fight!
fight!
Out of the week into a big ultimate out of JJ to hold 3 members down, but the damage
Smite
still
fight.
not quite there yet. Smite
Soul.
comes through. It's the soul secured for Juhan, but what about the fight on the back end? Elk still pretty much untouched, firing out the boomerang blades. They're able to kite away from the bullet time, and a stun over the wall from Xiaohu will put a stop to that. Elk flashes forward. Elk gets the boomerang blades. 2 kills already down. Hai Chao's the last one standing, and they're going to advance forward to see if they can complete this ace. Scout of the week not quite going to connect. JJ too low. Elk still under pressure as well in this Ocean Soul.
Something like that happen again. Spotted on a pink as OMG start this up, but they're looking bot side here. Harry, they've got double TPs to try and make this work.
They can't interrupt it, or can they? Xiaohu connects the scatter of the week, but this 2-man squad, they've got to kill Harry, and they've got to get the hell out of here because this Baron is dropping lower and lower. 3k HP.
JJ's
JJ
in.
over the wall. Supreme display of talent. Not able to find the smite. Juhan secures it once again, and JJ going to fall for his efforts. Elk was picked off on the opposite side. It's a numbers advantage for OMG with Baron and Ocean Soul.
Yeah, they lose one bot side, but are happy to take that trade. The communication from Weibo there was to try and make a quick pick down on bot side and then transition that into a double TP play to contest. They weren't able to do it, and now with a 4v3 in their base, OMG are looking to end the game.
Yeah, they're going to see if they can close this one out, and they very well might be able to as long as they keep this numbers
MF
advantage.
destroys
20
these
seconds
turrets.
to go on Elk. Juhan taking a fair bit of damage. Hai Chao able to finish off one of the towers, and Starry just works through these things so dang fast. And they just don't have the range, they don't have the poke, they don't have Elk's damage, and they are feeling his absence. Erha's one shot. Zika pushed back. Xiaohu hiding out in the fountain. Hai Chao not able to finish him off. Elk is here now, but the Nexus is dropping too fast. OMG! Take game number 1 up against Weibo.